Hi, this is Pastor Matt, Guilford College United Methodist Church, and just reaching out to you midweek. Some folks had asked if we might consider a weekly midweek kind of devotional thought to help get people through between Sundays, and we thought we might try that this week and see how it goes. We've been really pleased and surprised by the number of people who've tuned in on Sundays, so that's been a really great thing. A great way that many of you have chosen to connect and are seeking other ways to connect through Zoom, in journey groups and Sunday schools and other kind of small groups. And we may move to very soon doing some of our meetings through that technology as well. So thanks for bearing with us in these um, uncharted waters that we're all going through together. Um, I am on Wednesday night leading a session for our youth. This is when our youth small groups meet. And so I'm going to be walking them through a scripture that I think is very helpful in challenging times like these, Romans 12:9 through 21. So we're going to do that together as a large group, and then there'll be some questions for reflection that they'll then be subdivided through Zoom, through these little chat rooms with their adult leaders, and be able to process some of those things and have a more intimate discussion than we could in the group as a whole. But that Bible study that I'm preparing for them, I'm also going to share with you and the rest of the congregation in case it's helpful. Um, anytime that our young people get together, I think it's worth asking a few questions before they delve into scripture or anything else. And one of those is every time that we get together, I think it's worth asking the question of, what are you giving thanks for? In this case, it's, what are you giving thanks for even in the midst of crisis? Um, I think that's a great question for us to be asking all of us these days. Um, what are you, don't start with what's wrong, start with what it is that you're giving thanks for, what it is that's going well, what it is that you're giving gratitude to God for. We'll also be asking, having the youth answer in their small groups, what are you sad to be missing these days? I mean, I've got one of the youth who just made the track team for the first time this year. I've got one of the youth who was looking forward to a promising season in her robotics group. That we're going to be traveling to all these tournaments and probably racking up a lot of trophies. I especially feel for our high school and college seniors who were looking forward to all these wonderful rites of passage that are now going to take place in a different format, if at all. So I think each of those groups would be worth this first time that they're getting together through this technology to be asked, what are they sad to be missing? And then I want to give them a minute to be able to ask, what's causing them the most worry right now? What's really weighing on their hearts and minds and making it hard in these days? But then we're going to turn to the scripture, which is again Romans 12:9 through 21. And I think of this kind of as a continuation of this versus the virus that I like that catchy title that Jeremy introduced to us on Sunday, and we'll continue that with Romans 12. What the scripture says is that we should not just pretend to love others, that we should really love them, that we should hate what is wrong, that we should hold tightly to what is good, that we should love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. So the question that these verses raise for me and that will be posed to the youth is, how are you showing love in real ways during this crisis? How is your sentiment of love being more than just a feeling, more than words? How are you reaching out to other people in tangible ways to help them, to let them know you care? Are you calling? Are you writing notes? You can't hug their necks right now, but what is it that you are doing to show real love, show love in real ways during this crisis? And the second question is, who's showing you real love? So I hope you feel the love of God. I hope you feel the love of your church. Um, I hope you'll feel love from friends and family. And if you're feeling, left out of that, please reach out to us at the church, and we'll try to find some ways to connect you more deeply with other people who are seeking ways to show love themselves. So let us know if you're feeling the lack right now. The scripture continues saying, "Never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord enthusiastically. Rejoice in our confident hope. Be patient in trouble. Keep on praying. When God's people are in need, be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality." Like a lot of the things that Paul writes, this chapter in Romans has a lot to do about this different, changed, and transformed life that we're supposed to have as followers of Jesus. And that includes making the most of the time, rejoicing in confident hope, being patient, praying in all things, being willing to help, and being willing to show kindness and hospitality to others. So I think for a lot of our young people, that the thing that Paul says about never being lazy, one of the questions we're going to pose is, what successes have they had in making the most of their disrupted routines? Where have they struck upon a good rhythm of life in this first week that Guilford County Schools are asking the students to be producing work, turning things in, doing all this online? Where are they seeing some successes, and maybe struggles too, but maybe they can encourage each other with good stories about ways that this has worked well for them. And then the other part of those verses is, what chances have the people, our young people, or you who are tuning in, what chances have you had to grow in your faith in God and your kindness to others? How are you relying on God more and more? How are you reaching out to your neighbor? Again, how are you showing your love in real ways, both for God and neighbor? Romans 12 continues by saying, "Be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with each other. Don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people, and don't think you know it all." I think these verses from Romans have a lot to speak to our situation. If we're confined to home with people we don't usually spend 168 hours a week with, there are some challenges that can come with that. Some of you may have heard this quote before by the late great comedian George Burns, who once said, "Happiness is having a large, loving, caring, close-knit family in another city." So some of you have not had that comfortable distance from people in your household. So that challenge that Paul gives to live in harmony may have been hard for you to do. So the question to the youth, the question to all of you who are tuning into this video is, how hard has it been to live in harmony with those you've lived with and been staying with during these times when you're stuck at home? Where have you seen struggles with that? And then where is there an opportunity to grow? That as much as it depends upon you, as it says elsewhere in Scripture, how are you seeking to live at peace with all people? That's a challenge in all circumstances, and not least of all during these. Romans 12 continues. Not only are we to live in harmony with the people we love and live with, we're even to live in harmony and love and bless those that we would never live with, that we have a hard time with. Scripture here says, "Bless those who persecute you. Don't curse them, but pray that God will bless them. Never pay back evil with more evil. Do things in such a way that everyone can see you're honorable. Do all that you can to live in peace with everyone. And don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good." This is how that chapter of Romans closes. Don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good. And talks also in there about not taking revenge. So, in this time, this challenging time, which has a potential for great suffering, I'm hoping that we can resist the urge to be happy when someone you don't like or don't agree with has something bad happen to them. I don't think that's befitting us as Christians. Paul didn't think so. And so the invitation in those small groups is for them to take a minute and to consider, who's one person that you struggle to like, or maybe a group of people, and can you take this as an opportunity to grow and seeing their shared humanity, that these people or this person who you may not personally like is also someone for whom Christ died, and is someone that maybe you are being invited in this time to pray for them, that they might be as happy and healthy, and that their lives would be okay even through this crisis, so that we become the sort of people who are not wishing evil on our enemies, but are seeking God's blessings even for them too. That's the high and lofty challenge that comes to us through Romans 12, and I think it's something that our youth will hopefully have some great discussion about, and hopefully will be something that you can reflect on this midweek, as you consider how God is calling you to grow through this time. Thanks, friends. Take care and have a great balance of your week.